Welcome back. I'm Sage, and this is Easy English with Sage.
Oh, wow. Are you ready for today? Because today we're diving into something really special. Advanced vocabulary that native speakers use every single day, but that most English courses never teach you. Ha ha ha! I know, right? It's almost like a secret language sometimes. Okay. Let me explain what I mean. You know when you're watching an English movie or listening to a podcast and you understand most of the words, but then someone says something and you're like, wait, what does that mean? I never learned that in school. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? That's exactly what we're going to fix today. We're going to explore C1 to C2 level advanced vocabulary, the kind of words and expressions that make you sound fluent, confident, and yes, like a native speaker. Wow, that's nice, right? So if you're ready to level up your English, to speak with more confidence, to stop translating in your head and just speak automatically, and hey, before we start, make sure you subscribe to Easy English with Sage so you never miss our daily practice sessions. Trust me, consistency is everything when it comes to fluency. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a conversation where you understood everything, but when it was your turn to speak, you froze? You knew what you wanted to say in your own language, but in English, the words just didn't come out naturally? Let me think. This happens to so many learners. You're not alone. Maybe you were at work, trying to explain an idea during a meeting. Or maybe you were talking to someone new, someone interesting, and you wanted to express yourself clearly, but you felt stuck. That feeling, it's completely normal. But here's the thing, it's not because your English is bad. It's because you've been learning English in one way, but real conversations require something different. They require vocabulary that feels natural, expressions that native speakers actually use, and the confidence to trust yourself when you speak. And that's exactly what we're going to build together today. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to teach you advanced vocabulary step by step, word by word, expression by expression. But I'm not just going to give you definitions. No. We're going to practice them in real contexts, in real sentences, so you can actually use them in your daily life. You're going to shadow me, repeat after me, and by the end of this session, these words are going to feel familiar, comfortable, like they've always been part of your English. Sound good? All right, let's begin. Our first word today is contemplate. Contemplate. Say it with me. Contemplate. Beautiful. Now, what does contemplate mean? It means to think deeply about something, to consider something carefully. When you contemplate, you're really taking your time, reflecting, maybe even questioning. For example, imagine you're sitting by a window on a rainy evening, and you're thinking about your future, your dreams, what you really want in life. You're not just thinking, you're contemplating. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I often contemplate my goals before making big decisions. Say it with me. I often contemplate my goals before making big decisions. One more time. I often contemplate my goals before making big decisions. Excellent. Now let's try another one. She sat quietly, contemplating the meaning of his words. Repeat. She sat quietly, contemplating the meaning of his words. Perfect. You see, when you use contemplate, you sound more thoughtful, more intentional. It's a word that shows depth. Now let's move to our next word. Articulate. Articulate. Say it. Articulate. This word has two meanings, and both are super useful. As a verb, Articulate means to express something clearly and effectively. As an adjective, it describes someone who speaks clearly and confidently. For example, if someone asks you a question in English and you answer smoothly with clear pronunciation and good word choice, people might say, "Wow, you're very articulate." That's a huge compliment. Let's practice using it as a verb first. Repeat after me. I need to articulate my thoughts more clearly during meetings. Say it with me. I need to articulate my thoughts more clearly during meetings. Again, I need to articulate my thoughts more clearly during meetings. Great job. Now let's use it as an adjective. He's an articulate speaker who always makes his point effectively. Repeat. He's an articulate speaker who always makes his point effectively. One more time. He's an articulate speaker who always makes his point effectively. When you practice words like this, you're not just learning vocabulary. You're training your brain to think in English. You're building the automatic response you need for real conversations. Tell me in the comments, which word do you like more so far, contemplate or articulate? I'm curious. Let's keep going. Our next word is subtle. Repeat after me. Subtle. Now be careful with pronunciation here. It's not subtle. The B is silent. It's subtle. Try again. Subtle. Perfect. So what does subtle mean? It means something that is not obvious, something delicate or understated, something you might not notice immediately. For example, imagine someone makes a small change to their appearance. Maybe they got a haircut, but just a little trim, nothing dramatic. You might say, "Oh, I like the subtle change. It looks great." Or let's say someone makes a joke, but it's not loud or obvious. It's a quiet, clever joke. You could say, "I loved that subtle humor." Repeat after me. There was a subtle difference between the two paintings. Say it. There was a subtle difference between the two paintings. Again. There was a subtle difference between the two paintings. Excellent. Now try this one. Her perfume had a subtle fragrance that was really pleasant. Repeat. Her perfume had a subtle fragrance that was really pleasant. One more time. Her perfume had a subtle fragrance that was really pleasant. Amazing. You're doing great. Now here's a word that's super common in native conversations, but almost never taught in textbooks. Cringe. Cringe. Say it with me. Cringe. Oh wow, this one is so useful. When you cringe, it means you feel embarrassed or uncomfortable, usually because of something awkward or unpleasant. For example, have you ever watched a video of yourself speaking English from a few years ago, and you felt embarrassed by your mistakes? You might say, "I cringe every time I watch my old videos." Or maybe you saw someone do something really awkward in public, and you felt uncomfortable just watching it. That's cringe. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I cringe when I remember that presentation I gave last year. Say it. I cringe when I remember that presentation I gave last year. Again. I cringe when I remember that presentation I gave last year. Perfect. Now try this. That awkward silence made everyone cringe. Repeat. That awkward silence made everyone cringe. One more time. That awkward silence made everyone cringe. Ha, see? You're learning words that native speakers use every single day. All right, quick break. If you're enjoying this so far, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps you stay consistent with your practice, and consistency is the secret to fluency. Okay, let's continue. Our next word is genuinely. Genuinely. Repeat, genuinely. This word means truly, sincerely, really. It's the adverb form of genuine. When you say you're genuinely happy, you mean you're truly happy from your heart. For example, let's say a friend asks how you're doing, and you're actually doing really well. You might say, I'm genuinely excited about this new opportunity. It shows authenticity. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I'm genuinely grateful for all your support. Say it with me. I'm genuinely grateful for all your support. Again, I'm genuinely grateful for all your support. Beautiful. Now try this one. She was genuinely surprised by the news. Repeat. She was genuinely surprised by the news. One more time. She was genuinely surprised by the news. Excellent work. Now let's learn imply. Imply. Say it, imply. When you imply something, you suggest it without saying it directly. It's like giving a hint. For example, if your friend says, it's getting late, while you're at their house, they're probably implying that they want you to leave, but they're being polite about it. They didn't say, please go home, but you can understand the implication. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Are you implying that I made a mistake? Say it. Are you implying that I made a mistake? Again. Are you implying that I made a mistake? Great. Now try this. His tone implied that he was frustrated. Repeat. His tone implied that he was frustrated. One more time. His tone implied that he was frustrated. Perfect. You see how these words add sophistication to your English? Let's talk about mindset next. Mindset. Repeat. Mindset. Your mindset is your attitude, your way of thinking about things. For example, if you believe you can improve your English with practice, you have a growth mindset. If you think you'll never be fluent, that's a fixed mindset. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Having a positive mindset is essential for success. Say it. Having a positive mindset is essential for success. Again, having a positive mindset is essential for success. Now try. I need to change my mindset about making mistakes. Repeat. I need to change my mindset about making mistakes. One more time. I need to change my mindset about making mistakes. Beautiful. If you're still with me, type yes in the comments. I want to see how many dedicated learners we have here today. All right, our next word is profound. Profound. Say it with me. Profound. This word means very deep, very meaningful, very significant. It's used for ideas, thoughts, experiences, or feelings that really touch you. For example, if you read a book that completely changed how you see the world, you might say, that book had a profound impact on me. Let's practice. Repeat after me. The movie had a profound effect on how I think about life. Say it. The movie had a profound effect on how I think about life. Again, the movie had a profound effect on how I think about life. Perfect. Now try this. She shared a profound insight during our conversation. She shared a profound insight during our conversation. One more time. She shared a profound insight during our conversation. Excellent. Now here's a really useful one. Overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. Repeat. Overwhelmed. When you're overwhelmed, you feel like there's too much happening, too much to handle. It's that feeling when you have 10 things to do and you don't know where to start. For example, maybe you started learning English and there's so much to study. Grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, listening, and you feel overwhelmed. That's completely normal. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I felt overwhelmed by all the information. Say it. I felt overwhelmed by all the information. Again, I felt overwhelmed by all the information. Great. Now try. Sometimes I get overwhelmed when speaking English in real situations. Repeat. Sometimes I get overwhelmed when speaking English in real situations. One more time. Sometimes I get overwhelmed when speaking English in real situations. Perfect. And hey, if you ever feel overwhelmed while learning English, just remember, Small steps every day. You don't have to learn everything at once. Let's learn resilient next. Resilient. Say it. Resilient. When you're resilient, it means you can recover from difficulties. You can bounce back after challenges. It's a beautiful quality. For example, if you fail a test, but you keep studying and trying, you're resilient. Let's practice. Repeat after me. She's incredibly resilient and never gives up. Say it. She's incredibly resilient and never gives up. Again, she's incredibly resilient and never gives up. Excellent. Now try this. Being resilient helps you overcome any obstacle. Repeat. Being resilient helps you overcome any obstacle. One more time. Being resilient helps you overcome any obstacle. Beautiful work. Now let's talk about navigate. Repeat. Navigate. Originally, navigate means to find your way, like using a map. But we also use it to talk about handling difficult situations. For example, I'm learning to navigate professional conversations in English. Means you're learning to handle them, to manage them successfully. Let's practice. Repeat after me. It's challenging to navigate conversations when you're still learning. Say it. It's challenging to navigate conversations when you're still learning. Again, it's challenging to navigate conversations when you're still learning. Great. Now try. She navigates difficult situations with grace. Repeat. She navigates difficult situations with grace. One more time. She navigates difficult situations with grace. Perfect. Tell me in the comments, are you practicing out loud with me? If yes, you're already building fluency. Our next word is perspective. Perspective. Say it with me. Perspective. Your perspective is your point of view. Different people have different perspectives based on their experiences. For example, two people might watch the same movie and have completely different perspectives about it. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I appreciate hearing different perspectives on this topic. Say it. I appreciate hearing different perspectives on this topic. Again, I appreciate hearing different perspectives on this topic. Excellent. Now try this. Traveling changed my perspective on life. Repeat. Traveling changed my perspective on life. One more time. Traveling changed my perspective on life. Beautiful. Let's learn resonate. Resonate. Repeat. Resonate. When something resonates with you, it means it connects with you emotionally. It feels meaningful to you. For example, maybe you hear a song and the lyrics perfectly describe how you feel. You might say, "This song really resonates with me." Let's practice. Repeat after me. Her words resonated deeply with the audience. Say it. Her words resonated deeply with the audience. Again. Her words resonated deeply with the audience. Perfect. Now try. This message really resonates with me. Repeat. This message really resonates with me. One more time. This message really resonates with me. Excellent. Now here's one that's super common. Procrastinate. Procrastinate. Say it. Procrastinate. We all do this sometimes. It means to delay doing something, to put it off. For example, you know you should practice English today, but you keep saying, "I'll do it later, I'll do it later." That's procrastinating. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I tend to procrastinate when I have difficult tasks. Say it. I tend to procrastinate when I have difficult tasks. Again, I tend to procrastinate when I have difficult tasks. Great. Stop procrastinating and start practicing now. Repeat. Stop procrastinating and start practicing now. One more time. Stop procrastinating and start practicing now. Ha 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 ha, yes. That's good advice for all of us. All right, don't forget to subscribe to Easy English with Sage if you haven't already. I'm watching you. Just kidding, but seriously, it helps. Let's learn nuance. Nuance. Repeat. Nuance is a subtle difference, a small but important detail. For example, in English, I'm fine and I'm doing well have a slight nuance. The second one sounds more positive and enthusiastic. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Understanding cultural nuances is important for fluency. Say it. Understanding cultural nuances is important for fluency. Again, understanding cultural nuances is important for fluency. Perfect. Now try. There's a nuance in how native speakers use that word. Repeat. There's a nuance in how native speakers use that word. One more time. There's a nuance in how native speakers use that word. Excellent. Now let's talk about coherent. Coherent. Say it with me. When something is coherent, it's clear, logical, and makes sense. For example, when you speak English, you want your ideas to be coherent so people can understand you easily. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I want to speak in a more coherent way during conversations. Say it. I want to speak in a more coherent way during conversations. Again, I want to speak in a more coherent way during conversations. Great. Now try this. His explanation was clear and coherent. Repeat. His explanation was clear and coherent. One more time. His explanation was clear and coherent. Beautiful. Let's learn advocate. Advocate. Repeat. Advocate. As a verb, it means to support or recommend something publicly. As a noun, it's a person who supports a cause. For example, I advocate for daily English practice, means I strongly recommend it, I support it. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I advocate for learning English through immersion. Say it. I advocate for learning English through immersion. Again. I advocate for learning English through immersion. Perfect. Now as a noun, she's an advocate for education reform. Repeat. She's an advocate for education reform. One more time. She's an advocate for education reform. Excellent work. Now here's an interesting one. Leverage. Leverage. Say it. Leverage. In modern English, leverage means to use something to your advantage. For example, you can leverage your English skills to get better job opportunities. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I'm learning to leverage my language skills professionally. Say it. I'm learning to leverage my language skills professionally. Again, I'm learning to leverage my language skills professionally. Great. Now try. She leveraged her experience to land the job. Repeat. She leveraged her experience to land the job. One more time. She leveraged her experience to land the job. Perfect. Which sentence was your favorite so far? Our next word is encounter. Encounter. Repeat. Encounter. To encounter something means to meet it or experience it, usually unexpectedly. For example, I often encounter difficult vocabulary when reading English novels. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I encounter new words every day in my English practice. Say it. I encounter new words every day in my English practice. Again, I encounter new words every day in my English practice. Excellent. Now try. She encountered some challenges while learning to speak fluently. Repeat. She encountered some challenges while learning to speak fluently. One more time. She encountered some challenges while learning to speak fluently. Beautiful. Let's talk about compelling. Compelling. Say it with me. Compelling. Something compelling is very convincing, very interesting, hard to resist or ignore. For example, a compelling story makes you want to keep reading. A compelling argument makes you think, yes, that makes sense. Let's practice. Repeat after me. That was a compelling presentation. Say it. That was a compelling presentation. Again. That was a compelling presentation. Perfect. Now try. She made a compelling case for daily practice. Repeat, she made a compelling case for daily practice. One more time. She made a compelling case for daily practice. Excellent. Now let's learn ambiguous. Ambiguous. Repeat, ambiguous. When something is ambiguous, it's unclear. It has more than one possible meaning. For example, if someone says, "I'll see you later," that's a bit ambiguous. Later today? Later this week? It's not specific. Let's practice. Repeat after me. His answer was ambiguous and confusing. Say it. His answer was ambiguous and confusing. Again. His answer was ambiguous and confusing. Great. Now try. Try to avoid ambiguous language when giving instructions. Repeat. Try to avoid ambiguous language when giving instructions. One more time. Try to avoid ambiguous language when giving instructions. Perfect. Here's a powerful one. Substantial. Substantial. Say it. Substantial. This means large, significant, considerable in amount or importance. For example, "I've made substantial progress in my English" means you've made a lot of progress, real, meaningful progress. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I've made substantial improvements in my speaking skills. Say it. I've made substantial improvements in my speaking skills. Again, I've made substantial improvements in my speaking skills. Excellent. Now try. There was a substantial difference in my confidence. Repeat. There was a substantial difference in my confidence. One more time. There was a substantial difference in my confidence. Beautiful. All right, quick check. Are you still repeating out loud? Remember, active practice is what builds fluency, not just listening. Let's learn undermine. Undermine. To undermine something means to weaken it, to damage it gradually. For example, if you keep telling yourself, "I'll never be fluent," you're undermining your own confidence. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Don't let fear undermine your progress. Say it. Don't let fear undermine your progress. Again, don't let fear undermine your progress. Perfect. Now try. Negative self-talk can undermine your success. Repeat. Negative self-talk can undermine your success. One more time. Negative self-talk can undermine your success. Excellent. Now here's one that's very useful. Compromise. Compromise. Say it with me. Compromise. A compromise is when two people or groups each give up something to reach an agreement. It's about finding middle ground. For example, we reached a compromise that worked for both of us. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Sometimes you need to compromise to solve a problem. Say it. Sometimes you need to compromise to solve a problem. Again, sometimes you need to compromise to solve a problem. Now try. They found a good compromise after discussing it. Repeat. They found a good compromise after discussing it. One more time. They found a good compromise after discussing it. Perfect. Let's talk about transparent. Transparent. Repeat. Transparent. Originally, it means see-through, like glass. But in modern usage, it means honest, open, clear. For example, "I want to be transparent about my English level" means you want to be honest about it, not hide anything. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Good communication requires being transparent. Say it. Good communication requires being transparent. Again. Good communication requires being transparent. Excellent. Now try. She was transparent about her mistakes. Repeat. She was transparent about her mistakes. One more time. She was transparent about her mistakes. Beautiful work. Our next word is arbitrary. Arbitrary. Say it. Arbitrary. Something arbitrary is random, based on personal choice rather than logic or rules. For example, there's no arbitrary rule for fluency. Everyone's journey is different. Let's practice. Repeat after me. The decision seemed arbitrary and unfair. Say it. The decision seemed arbitrary and unfair. Again. The decision seemed arbitrary and unfair. Great. Now try. Don't follow arbitrary rules that don't help you. Repeat. Don't follow arbitrary rules that don't help you. One more time. Don't follow arbitrary rules that don't help you. Perfect. Tell me in the comments, how many of these words did you already know before today? I'm really curious. Now let's learn elaborate. Elaborate. Repeat. Elaborate. As a verb, elaborate means to explain something in more detail, to expand on an idea. For example, could you elaborate on that point? Means could you explain it more? Let's practice. Repeat after me. Can you elaborate on what you mean? Say it. Can you elaborate on what you mean? Again, can you elaborate on what you mean? She elaborated on her experience living abroad. Repeat. She elaborated on her experience living abroad. One more time. She elaborated on her experience living abroad. Perfect. Here's a good one. Paradox. Paradox. Say it with me. Paradox. A paradox is a statement or situation that seems contradictory but might be true. For example, the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. That's a paradox. Let's practice. Repeat after me. It's a paradox that learning can make you feel both confident and humble. Say it. It's a paradox that learning can make you feel both confident and humble. Again, it's a paradox that learning can make you feel both confident and humble. Great. Now try. Life is full of paradoxes. Repeat. Life is full of paradoxes. One more time. Life is full of paradoxes. Beautiful. Let's talk about skeptical. Skeptical. When you're skeptical, you doubt something. You're not easily convinced. For example, I was skeptical about this method at first, but now I see it works. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I'm skeptical about shortcuts to fluency. Say it. I'm skeptical about shortcuts to fluency. Again, I'm skeptical about shortcuts to fluency. Perfect. Now try. She was skeptical, but decided to try it anyway. Repeat. She was skeptical, but decided to try it anyway. One more time. She was skeptical, but decided to try it anyway. Excellent. Now here's an important one. Consistency. Consistency. Say it. Consistency. This means doing something regularly, being steady and reliable. For English learning, consistency is everything. Practicing 10 minutes every day is better than studying 2 hours once a week. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Consistency is the key to mastering any skill. Say it. Consistency is the key to mastering any skill. Again, consistency is the key to mastering any skill. Great. Now try. My English improved dramatically when I practiced with consistency. Repeat. My English improved dramatically when I practiced with consistency. One more time. My English improved dramatically when I practiced with consistency. Perfect. All right. If you're still here, you're doing amazing. Don't forget to subscribe. It takes 1 second and helps you stay on track. Let's learn anticipate. Anticipate. Repeat. Anticipate. To anticipate means to expect something, to predict it, to prepare for it before it happens. For example, I anticipate challenges when speaking English, so I prepare mentally. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I anticipate some difficulties, but I'm ready for them. Say it. I anticipate some difficulties, but I'm ready for them. Again. I anticipate some difficulties, but I'm ready for them. Excellent. Now try. She anticipated the question and had an answer ready. Repeat. She anticipated the question and had an answer ready. One more time. She anticipated the question and had an answer ready. Now let's talk about cynical. Cynical. Say it with me. Cynical. Someone cynical believes that people are generally selfish or dishonest. They have a negative, distrustful attitude. For example, don't be cynical about learning. Believe in your potential. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I try not to be cynical about my progress. Say it. I try not to be cynical about my progress. Again, I try not to be cynical about my progress. Perfect. Now try. He has a cynical view of the world. Repeat. He has a cynical view of the world. One more time. He has a cynical view of the world. Great. Here's a useful one. Subsequent. Subsequent. Repeat. Subsequent. Subsequent means coming after, following in time or order. For example, I made a mistake in my first presentation, but my subsequent presentations went much better. Let's practice. Repeat after me. My subsequent attempts were more successful. Say it. My subsequent attempts were more successful. Again. My subsequent attempts were more successful. Excellent. Now try. Each subsequent practice session felt easier. Repeat. Each subsequent practice session felt easier. One more time. Each subsequent practice session felt easier. Perfect. Let's learn inherent. Inherent. Say it. Inherent. Something inherent is built in. It's a natural part of something. For example, making mistakes is inherent to learning. It's part of the process. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Challenges are inherent in any learning journey. Say it. Challenges are inherent in any learning journey. Again, challenges are inherent in any learning journey. Great. Now try. There's an inherent beauty in trying your best. Repeat. There's an inherent beauty in trying your best. One more time. There's an inherent beauty in trying your best. Beautiful. Now here's one you'll use often. Reluctant. Reluctant. Repeat. Reluctant. When you're reluctant, you're hesitant, unwilling, not eager to do something. For example, I was reluctant to speak English at first because I was nervous. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I was reluctant to make mistakes in public. Say it. I was reluctant to make mistakes in public. Again, I was reluctant to make mistakes in public. Perfect. Now try. She was reluctant but eventually agreed. Repeat. She was reluctant but eventually agreed. One more time. She was reluctant but eventually agreed. Excellent. Which word has been the most useful for you so far? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about compliment. Careful, not compliment, but complement. Compliment. Repeat. Compliment. When something complements something else, it goes well with it, it completes it. For example, listening practice complements speaking practice perfectly. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Reading and speaking complement each other well. Say it. Reading and speaking complement each other well. Again, reading and speaking complement each other well. Now try. These two skills complement one another. Repeat. These two skills complement one another. One more time. These two skills complement one another. Perfect. Now let's learn connotation. Connotation. Say it with me. Connotation. A connotation is the feeling or idea that a word suggests beyond its basic meaning. For example, home and house have similar meanings, but home has a warm, emotional connotation. Let's practice. Repeat after me. That word has a negative connotation in this culture. Say it. That word has a negative connotation in this culture. Again, that word has a negative connotation in this culture. Excellent. Now try. Understanding connotations helps you speak more naturally. Repeat. Understanding connotations helps you speak more naturally. One more time. Understanding connotations helps you speak more naturally. Beautiful. Here's an important one. Prerequisite. Repeat. Prerequisite. A prerequisite is something that's required before you can do something else. For example, basic vocabulary is a prerequisite for advanced conversation. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Consistency is a prerequisite for fluency. Say it. Consistency is a prerequisite for fluency. Again, consistency is a prerequisite for fluency. Perfect. Now try. There are no strict prerequisites for starting to practice. Repeat. There are no strict prerequisites for starting to practice. One more time. There are no strict prerequisites for starting to practice. Great. Let's learn reinforce. Reinforce. Say it. Reinforce. To reinforce means to strengthen, to support, to make stronger. For example, repetition reinforces learning. That's why we practice the same words multiple times. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Daily practice reinforces what you've learned. Say it. Daily practice reinforces what you've learned. Again, daily practice reinforces what you've learned. Excellent. Now try. She reinforced her skills through consistent effort. Repeat. She reinforced her skills through consistent effort. One more time. She reinforced her skills through consistent effort. Beautiful work. Now here's one that's super common. Feasible. Feasible. Repeat. Feasible. Something feasible is possible, doable, practical. For example, is it feasible to become fluent in 6 months? Maybe, if you practice every single day. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I want to set feasible goals for my English learning. Say it. I want to set feasible goals for my English learning. Again, I want to set feasible goals for my English learning. Perfect. Now try. The plan seemed feasible and realistic. Repeat. The plan seemed feasible and realistic. One more time. The plan seemed feasible and realistic. Excellent. All right, quick reminder, if this is helping you, subscribe to Easy English with Sage. It takes 1 second and it really makes a difference. Let's talk about inevitable. Inevitable. Say it with me. Inevitable. Something inevitable is unavoidable, certain to happen. For example, mistakes are inevitable when learning a language. Everyone makes them. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Progress is inevitable if you stay consistent. Say it. Progress is inevitable if you stay consistent. Again, progress is inevitable if you stay consistent. Great. Now try. Change is inevitable in life. Repeat. Change is inevitable in life. One more time. Change is inevitable in life. Perfect. Now let's learn trivial. Trivial. Repeat. Trivial. Something trivial is unimportant, not significant, not worth worrying about. For example, don't stress about trivial grammar mistakes when speaking. Focus on communicating your message. Let's practice. Repeat after me. These details are trivial compared to the big picture. Say it. These details are trivial compared to the big picture. Again, these details are trivial compared to the big picture. Excellent. Now try. She didn't worry about trivial things. Repeat. She didn't worry about trivial things. One more time. She didn't worry about trivial things. Beautiful. Here's a powerful word. Viable. Viable. Say it. Viable. Something viable is capable of working, feasible, practical. For example, immersion learning is a viable method for achieving fluency. Let's practice. Repeat after me. That's a viable option worth considering. Say it. That's a viable option worth considering. Again, that's a viable option worth considering. Perfect. Now try. She presented several viable solutions. Repeat. She presented several viable solutions. One more time. She presented several viable solutions. Excellent. Let's learn meticulous. Meticulous. Repeat. Meticulous. Someone meticulous pays very careful attention to detail. They're thorough and precise. For example, she's meticulous about her pronunciation practice. Let's practice. Repeat after me. He's meticulous in everything he does. Say it. He's meticulous in everything he does. Again, he's meticulous in everything he does. Great. Now try, a meticulous approach helps you improve faster. Repeat. A meticulous approach helps you improve faster. One more time. A meticulous approach helps you improve faster. Perfect. Now here's one that's really useful. Scarce. Scarce. Say it with me. Scarce. When something is scarce, it's rare, not enough, in short supply. For example, time is scarce, so use it wisely for practice. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Opportunities like this are scarce. Say it. Opportunities like this are scarce. Again, opportunities like this are scarce. Excellent. Now try. Resources were scarce during that time. Repeat. Resources were scarce during that time. One more time. Resources were scarce during that time. Beautiful. Tell me in the comments, are you taking notes or just practicing out loud? Both work. Let's talk about reluctance. Reluctance. This is the noun form of reluctant. It means hesitation, unwillingness. For example, I had to overcome my reluctance to speak English in public. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I'm working on overcoming my reluctance to make mistakes. Say it. I'm working on overcoming my reluctance to make mistakes. Again, I'm working on overcoming my reluctance to make mistakes. Perfect. Now try. Her reluctance slowly disappeared with practice. Repeat. Her reluctance slowly disappeared with practice. One more time. Her reluctance slowly disappeared with practice. Excellent. Here's an interesting one. Converse. Converse. Say it. Converse. As a verb, converse means to have a conversation, to talk with someone. It's more formal than talk or chat. For example, I enjoy conversing with native speakers. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I want to converse confidently in English. Say it. I want to converse confidently in English. Again, I want to converse confidently in English. Great. Now try. They conversed for hours about various topics. Repeat. They conversed for hours about various topics. One more time. They conversed for hours about various topics. Perfect. Now let's learn diminish. Diminish. Repeat. Diminish. To diminish means to reduce, to become less, to make smaller. For example, my fear of speaking English diminished with each practice session. Let's practice. Repeat after me. My anxiety diminished over time. Say it. My anxiety diminished over time. Again, my anxiety diminished over time. Excellent. Now try. Don't let anything diminish your confidence. Repeat. Don't let anything diminish your confidence. One more time. Don't let anything diminish your confidence. Beautiful. Let's talk about exponential. Exponential. Say it with me. Exponential. Exponential means growing very rapidly, increasing at a fast rate. For example, with consistent practice, your progress can be exponential. I've seen exponential growth in my fluency. Say it. I've seen exponential growth in my fluency. Again, I've seen exponential growth in my fluency. Perfect. Now try. The results were exponential after just a few months. Repeat. The results were exponential after just a few months. One more time. The results were exponential after just a few months. Excellent. Now here's one you'll hear often. Controversial. Controversial. Repeat. Controversial. Something controversial causes disagreement or discussion. Different people have different strong opinions about it. For example, that's a controversial topic. People have very different views. Let's practice. Repeat after me. The decision was controversial and sparked debate. Say it. The decision was controversial and sparked debate. Again. The decision was controversial and sparked debate. Great. Now try. She's not afraid to discuss controversial subjects. Repeat. She's not afraid to discuss controversial subjects. One more time. She's not afraid to discuss controversial subjects. Perfect. All right, we're making amazing progress. If you're still with me, drop a comment saying, "Still here." Let's learn deliberate. Deliberate. Say it. Deliberate. As an adjective, deliberate means intentional, done on purpose, carefully thought out. For example, I make deliberate choices about my English practice. Let's practice. Repeat after me. This was a deliberate decision. Say it. This was a deliberate decision. Again. This was a deliberate decision. Excellent. Now try. She took deliberate steps to improve. Repeat. She took deliberate steps to improve. One more time. She took deliberate steps to improve. Beautiful. Now let's talk about integrity. Integrity. Repeat. Integrity. Integrity means honesty, strong moral principles, doing the right thing even when nobody's watching. For example, learning with integrity means being honest about your level and your progress. Let's practice. Repeat after me. She has strong integrity and always does her best. Say it. She has strong integrity and always does her best. Again. She has strong integrity and always does her best. Perfect. Now try. Integrity is important in all aspects of life. Repeat. Integrity is important in all aspects of life. One more time. Integrity is important in all aspects of life. Excellent. Here's a good one. Conducive. Conducive. Say it with me. Conducive. When something is conducive to something else, it helps it happen. It creates good conditions for it. For example, a quiet environment is conducive to learning. Let's practice. Repeat after me. This practice is conducive to building confidence. Say it. This practice is conducive to building confidence. Again, this practice is conducive to building confidence. Great. Now try. A positive mindset is conducive to success. Repeat. A positive mindset is conducive to success. One more time. A positive mindset is conducive to success. Perfect. Let's learn mediocre. Mediocre. Repeat. Mediocre. Something mediocre is average. Not very good, not very bad. Just okay. For example, I don't want mediocre English. I want to speak really well. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I refuse to settle for mediocre results. Say it. I refuse to settle for mediocre results. Again, I refuse to settle for mediocre results. Excellent. Now try. The performance was mediocre at best. Repeat. The performance was mediocre at best. One more time. The performance was mediocre at best. Beautiful. Now here's one that's super useful. Facilitate. Facilitate. Say it. Facilitate. To facilitate means to make something easier, to help it happen more smoothly. For example, good teachers facilitate learning by creating supportive environments. Let's practice. Repeat after me. This method facilitates faster progress. Say it. This method facilitates faster progress. Again. This method facilitates faster progress. Perfect. Now try. She facilitated the discussion beautifully. Repeat. She facilitated the discussion beautifully. One more time. She facilitated the discussion beautifully. Excellent. Which word surprised you the most today? Let me know. Let's talk about contemptuous. Contemptuous. Repeat. Contemptuous. This means showing contempt, showing that you think something is worthless or beneath you. It's a very negative attitude. For example, don't be contemptuous of your mistakes. They're part of learning. Let's practice. Repeat after me. She gave him a contemptuous look. Say it. She gave him a contemptuous look. Again. She gave him a contemptuous look. Great. Now try. A contemptuous attitude helps nobody. Repeat. A contemptuous attitude helps nobody. One more time. A contemptuous attitude helps nobody. Perfect. Now let's learn emulate. Emulate. To emulate means to try to be like someone, to imitate them because you admire them. For example, I try to emulate native speakers when practicing pronunciation. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I emulate confident speakers to improve my style. Say it. I emulate confident speakers to improve my style. Again, I emulate confident speakers to improve my style. Excellent. Now try. She emulated her mentor's teaching methods. Repeat. She emulated her mentor's teaching methods. One more time. She emulated her mentor's teaching methods. Beautiful. Here's an important one. Pragmatic. Pragmatic. Repeat. Pragmatic. Someone pragmatic is practical, realistic, focused on what works rather than theories or ideals. For example, I take a pragmatic approach to learning. I focus on what actually helps me improve. Let's practice. Repeat after me. A pragmatic mindset helps you stay focused. Say it. A pragmatic mindset helps you stay focused. Again, a pragmatic mindset helps you stay focused. Perfect. Now try. She's very pragmatic about her goals. Repeat. She's very pragmatic about her goals. One more time. She's very pragmatic about her goals. Excellent. Let's learn endorse. Endorse. Say it. Endorse. To endorse something means to approve of it, support it publicly, or recommend it. For example, I fully endorse daily practice as the best way to learn. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I endorse this method wholeheartedly. Say it. I endorse this method wholeheartedly. Again, I endorse this method wholeheartedly. Great. Now try. She endorsed the new approach. Repeat. She endorsed the new approach. One more time. She endorsed the new approach. Perfect. Now here's one you might know. Scrutinize. Scrutinize. Repeat. Scrutinize. To scrutinize means to examine very carefully and critically. For example, don't scrutinize every word you say. Just speak naturally. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I tend to scrutinize my own mistakes too much. Say it. I tend to scrutinize my own mistakes too much. Again. I tend to scrutinize my own mistakes too much. Excellent. Now try. She scrutinized the document carefully. Repeat. She scrutinized the document carefully. One more time. She scrutinized the document carefully. Beautiful. All right, everyone. We're in the final stretch. Stay with me. This is where everything comes together. Let's talk about cumulative. Cumulative. Say it with me. Cumulative. Cumulative means building up over time, increasing by adding one thing after another. For example, the cumulative effect of daily practice is incredible. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Small efforts have a cumulative impact. Say it. Small efforts have a cumulative impact. Again. Small efforts have a cumulative impact. Perfect. Now try. The cumulative progress was remarkable. Repeat. The cumulative progress was remarkable. One more time. The cumulative progress was remarkable. Now let's learn ambivalent. Ambivalent. Repeat, ambivalent. When you're ambivalent, you have mixed feelings. You're uncertain because you feel two ways about something. For example, I feel ambivalent about grammar drills. Sometimes they help, sometimes they feel boring. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I'm ambivalent about this decision. Say it. I'm ambivalent about this decision. Again, I'm ambivalent about this decision. Great. Now try, she felt ambivalent about the change. Repeat, she felt ambivalent about the change. One more time, she felt ambivalent about the change. Perfect. Here's a beautiful word. Eloquent. Eloquent. Say it, eloquent. Someone eloquent speaks in a fluent, persuasive, and beautiful way. For example, she's such an eloquent speaker. Her words are powerful and clear. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I want to become a more eloquent speaker. Say it. I want to become a more eloquent speaker. Again, I want to become a more eloquent speaker. Now try. His speech was eloquent and moving. Repeat. His speech was eloquent and moving. One more time. His speech was eloquent and moving. Beautiful. Let's learn plausible. Plausible. Repeat, plausible. Something plausible seems reasonable or probable. It could be true. For example, that explanation sounds plausible to me. Let's practice. Repeat after me. That's a plausible theory. Say it. That's a plausible theory. Again, that's a plausible theory. Perfect. Now try. She gave a plausible reason for her absence. Repeat. She gave a plausible reason for her absence. One more time. She gave a plausible reason for her absence. Excellent. Now here's one that's really useful. Discern. Discern. Say it with me. Discern. To discern means to recognize or understand something that's not obvious, to perceive clearly. For example, with practice, you'll discern patterns in English more easily. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I'm learning to discern subtle differences in pronunciation. Say it. I'm learning to discern subtle differences in pronunciation. Again. I'm learning to discern subtle differences in pronunciation. Great. Now try. She could discern the truth immediately. Repeat. She could discern the truth immediately. One more time. She could discern the truth immediately. Perfect. Tell me in the comments, how do you feel now compared to when we started? Stronger? More confident? Let's talk about tangible. Tangible. Repeat. Tangible. Something tangible is real and concrete. You can touch it or measure it clearly. For example, I've seen tangible improvements in my speaking confidence. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I want to see tangible results from my practice. Say it. I want to see tangible results from my practice. Again. I want to see tangible results from my practice. Excellent. Now try. The benefits were tangible and immediate. Repeat. The benefits were tangible and immediate. One more time. The benefits were tangible and immediate. Here's an important one. Tentative. Tentative. Say it, tentative. Something tentative is uncertain, not fixed, subject to change. For example, these are tentative plans. They might change. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I have a tentative schedule for practice. Say it. I have a tentative schedule for practice. Again, I have a tentative schedule for practice. Perfect. Now try. She gave a tentative answer. Repeat. She gave a tentative answer. One more time. She gave a tentative answer. Excellent. Now let's learn prudent. Prudent. Repeat. Prudent. Someone prudent is wise and careful. They think before acting. For example, it's prudent to start with easier conversations before jumping into complex discussions. Let's practice. Repeat after me. It's prudent to practice daily rather than cramming. Say it. It's prudent to practice daily rather than cramming. Again, it's prudent to practice daily rather than cramming. Great. Now try, she made a prudent decision. Repeat. She made a prudent decision. One more time. She made a prudent decision. Perfect. Let's talk about benign. Benign. Say it with me. Benign. Something benign is harmless, gentle, not threatening. For example, that mistake was benign. Don't worry about it. Let's practice. Repeat after me. His intentions were completely benign. Say it. His intentions were completely benign. Again, his intentions were completely benign. Excellent. Now try. The error was benign and easily fixed. Repeat. The error was benign and easily fixed. One more time. The error was benign and easily fixed. Beautiful. Now, here's one that's super common. Indifferent. Indifferent. Repeat. Indifferent. When you're indifferent, you don't care. You have no particular interest or feeling. For example, don't be indifferent to your progress. Celebrate every small win. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I'm not indifferent to my goals. Say it. I'm not indifferent to my goals. Again, I'm not indifferent to my goals. Perfect. Now try. She seemed indifferent to the outcome. Repeat. She seemed indifferent to the outcome. One more time. She seemed indifferent to the outcome. Excellent. All right, my friend, we're almost at the end. You've learned so much today. Are you proud of yourself? You should be. Let's learn reciprocal. Reciprocal. Say it. Reciprocal. Something reciprocal is mutual, given and received, shared between two parties. For example, learning is a reciprocal process. You give effort, you receive results. Let's practice. Repeat after me. They have a reciprocal relationship built on trust. Say it. They have a reciprocal relationship built on trust. Again, they have a reciprocal relationship built on trust. Great. Now try. The benefits were reciprocal. Repeat. The benefits were reciprocal. One more time. The benefits were reciprocal. Perfect. Here's our final new word. Intrinsic. Say it with me. Intrinsic. Something intrinsic belongs to something naturally. It's part of its essential nature. For example, mistakes have intrinsic value in learning. They teach you what to improve. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Practice has intrinsic worth beyond just results. Say it. Practice has intrinsic worth beyond just results. Again, practice has intrinsic worth beyond just results. Excellent. Now try. The intrinsic motivation came from within. Repeat. The intrinsic motivation came from within. One more time. The intrinsic motivation came from within. Beautiful. Okay, my friend, we've covered so many powerful, advanced words today. Let's do one final review together. I'm going to say each word one more time, and I want you to repeat it with confidence. Ready? Here we go. Contemplate. Repeat. Contemplate. Articulate. Repeat. Articulate. Subtle. Repeat. Subtle. Cringe. Repeat. Cringe. Genuinely. Repeat. Genuinely. Imply. Repeat. Imply. Mindset. Repeat. Mindset. Overwhelmed. Repeat. Overwhelmed. Resilient. Repeat. Resilient. Navigate. Repeat. Navigate. Perspective. Repeat. Perspective. Resonate. Repeat. Resonate. Procrastinate. Repeat. Procrastinate. Nuance. Repeat. Nuance. Coherent. Repeat. Coherent. Advocate. Repeat. Advocate. Leverage. Repeat. Leverage. Encounter. Repeat. Encounter. Compelling, repeat, compelling. Beautiful, you're doing amazing. Let's continue. Ambiguous, repeat, ambiguous. Substantial, repeat, substantial. Undermine, repeat, undermine. Compromise, repeat, compromise. Transparent, repeat, transparent. Arbitrary, repeat, arbitrary. Elaborate, repeat, elaborate. Paradox, repeat, paradox. Skeptical, repeat, skeptical. Consistency, repeat, consistency. Anticipate, repeat, anticipate. Cynical, repeat, cynical. Subsequent, repeat, subsequent. Inherent, repeat, inherent. Reluctant, repeat, reluctant. Complement, repeat, complement. Connotation, repeat, connotation. Prerequisite, repeat, prerequisite. Repeat, reinforce. Feasible, repeat, feasible. Excellent, keep going. Inevitable, repeat, inevitable. Trivial, repeat, trivial. Viable, repeat, viable. Meticulous, repeat, meticulous. Scarce, repeat, scarce. Reluctance, repeat, reluctance. Converse, repeat, converse. Diminish, repeat, diminish. Exponential, repeat, exponential. Controversial, repeat, controversial. Deliberate, repeat, deliberate. Integrity, repeat, integrity. Conducive, repeat, conducive. Mediocre, repeat, mediocre. Facilitate, repeat, facilitate. Contemptuous, repeat, contemptuous. Emulate, repeat, emulate. Pragmatic, repeat, pragmatic. Endorse, repeat, endorse. Scrutinize, repeat, scrutinize. Almost there. You're so strong for staying with me through all of this. Cumulative, repeat, cumulative. Ambivalent, repeat, ambivalent. Eloquent, repeat, eloquent. Plausible, repeat, plausible. Discern, repeat, discern. Tangible, repeat, tangible. Tentative, repeat, tentative. Prudent, repeat, prudent. Benign, repeat, benign. Indifferent, repeat, indifferent. Reciprocal, repeat, reciprocal. Intrinsic, repeat, intrinsic. Wow, you just reviewed 60 advanced vocabulary words. 60. Do you realize how powerful that is? These are words that native speakers use every single day in professional settings, in casual conversations, in writing, in thinking. And now they're part of your vocabulary too. But here's the most important thing I want you to understand. Learning these words today was just the first step. The real magic happens when you start using them. When you use contemplate instead of just think. When you use articulate instead of just say. When you recognize these words in movies, podcasts, books, and conversations, that's when they become truly yours. So here's what I want you to do after this video. Pick 3 words, just 3, that really resonated with you today. Write them down. Create your own sentences with them. Use them in conversations this week. That's how you move from knowing a word to owning a word. And remember, fluency isn't about knowing every word in the English language. It's about using the words you know with confidence, clarity, and naturalness. It's about speaking without fear, without translating in your head, without hesitating. It's about trusting yourself. And you're building that trust every single day, with every practice session, with every word you learn, with every mistake you make and learn from. You know what I love most about teaching English? It's seeing people transform, not just their language skills, but their confidence, their belief in themselves, their willingness to try even when it's scary. Because that's what learning a language really is. It's not just memorizing words and rules. It's about becoming brave enough to use your voice in a new way. It's about connecting with people across cultures, across distances, across differences. It's about opening doors you didn't even know existed. And you're doing it. Right now. By being here, by practicing, by not giving up even when it feels hard. You're doing something incredible. So I want to leave you with this thought. Every expert was once a beginner. Every fluent speaker was once someone who stumbled over simple sentences. Every confident person was once scared to speak. The difference? They kept going. They practiced when it was inconvenient. They spoke even when they made mistakes. They believed in their potential even when progress felt slow. And that's exactly what you're doing right now. Tomorrow, come back and practice again. Next week, come back and learn more. Next month, look back and see how far you've come. Because the journey to fluency isn't a sprint. It's a beautiful, challenging, rewarding marathon. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, my friend. I'm Sage. This is Easy English with Sage, and I'm so proud of you. Don't forget to subscribe so we can continue this journey together. Leave a comment telling me which word was your favorite or which sentence you're going to use this week. And most importantly, keep practicing, keep believing, keep growing. You've got this. I believe in you. Now go out there and speak English with confidence, with pride, with joy. You've earned it.